Hi everyone, welcome to meal kit number 27 from Curated by Beckta for the week of November 24th to 28th. Thanks for ordering, thanks for being here tonight, thanks for cooking along with us. We're very excited for this amazing meal tonight. It's cold, it's got snow on the ground in Ottawa, and we need something really delicious to warm us up. So a little bit more complicated tonight on the first couple courses, but dessert is super easy. So we're gonna balance that out nicely. So the first thing I've done is turn the oven up to 400 degrees, get that nice and warm. And I'm gonna jump ahead to the main course and then do our appetizer while the stuff is in the oven. So first thing we wanna do is take our Brussels sprouts and then our beets, and you just sort of cut the Ziploc bag on that. Try not to get your hands on this too much because they will stain your hands. That's why we do all the hard work for you. This one doesn't want to open for me, so we're going to try just cutting it from there. And we're going to toss that with some salt and pepper and a generous amount of olive oil. Give it a good little stir. So this is going to go in the oven from 10 to 12 minutes. So put it on a baking sheet with a little parchment paper or some tin foil down, and then it'll go on the baking sheet with the potato roastie as well. So this is what things should look like. You got your 2 potato roasties and your beautiful veg, and that's going in there for 10 to 12 minutes. Now we are going to jump forward, and because the steak, which we've done most of the cooking for you, done it sous vide so that it's super tender for you, cooked to rare right now, and we're going to take it up to medium rare, or if you want to go longer, terrific. But let's get rolling on the risotto. So we're going to turn up our pan to medium. We've got the stock, a beautiful veg and mushroom stock that we sent along with you. To be honest, I forgot the veg stock at work today, so I'm using a little beef stock, which is going to be just fine. So if you decide that you want to have a richer experience, you can use some beef stock if you got it in the fridge like I did. So beef stock's going in there, and then butter is going to melt it all down there, and that's going to be really nice. And in the meantime, while that's going on, we're going to start looking at your next courses. So we're going to sear the sous vide flank steak. First of all, very important to bring it up to room temperature. What I've done is I've just put it on a paper towel here so that it soaks up the juices. Now, the steak's already been seasoned, so you don't need to worry about that too much. So that's coming along nicely. We're going to get our pan nice and hot for the steak, because the steak is not going to take long to cook. But don't forget, we want to rest the meat, because the more you rest it, the more flavorful and tender it is, and it's not going to bleed out all over the place. So you can use canola oil, although I love grapeseed oil. So if all of you who have been following along at our home game for weeks, you probably by now have gotten some grapeseed oil at home, because it's wonderful that it does not smoke the way that olive oil will. Okay, so our stock is coming along there nicely. I'm going to turn this up a little bit. And I'm also going to turn up the pan for our veg. All right. Now let's go back to the instructions for a second. So we need to saute the mushrooms in butter. I forgot to pull out some extra butter because I've got butter in the risotto base, and then I've got butter in the steak to finish the steak, but we also need some butter for the mushrooms. So a tablespoon is sort of the generic reference point for all butter. Chef Rich loves butter, as do I. That's why we get along. All right, so that's bubbling up nicely. So we're going to take our risotto, which has already been blanched and cooked in veg stock at the restaurant. So if you're doing this vegetarian, don't you worry. We're not sending you beef stock. We're sending you vegetable stock. And so it's all vegetarian. So for those of you who are meat eaters, you get to eat vegetarian appetizer tonight. So just mush it all around so that the butter and the stock soften it up nicely. Sorry if my back is going to be to the camera a little bit more tonight, because we've got a little bit more cooking on the stove than oftentimes we do. But it's going to come out gorgeous in the results. Okay, so that's all nice and soft. bubbling away. The steak pan is almost there. Let's melt the butter for the mushrooms and get your arugula nearby as well. And while that's happening, let me talk about the wine, my favorite part of the night. So today we've got a really interesting blend of Chardonnay and Roussanne from southern France. The Chardonnay that dominates this blend comes from clay and sandy soils in the valley of Penzance, which is fermented and aged in stainless steel. The Roussanne rounds out the blend with 5 to 10% and comes from the rocky Grès de Montpellier appellation, which currently only regulates red wines, hence the IGP reference. Okay, this is looking good. That's starting to bubble. I love this wine because it's got this really gorgeous aromatic quality to it, and that's the Roussanne coming through. Okay, butter's there, so mushrooms are going in. I promise you guys that all the hard work is going to be worth it. Okay, so the steak is sizzling. I'm going to put this on a little bit so that my smoke detector doesn't go off. So it's going to be a little bit louder than normal. My apologies, but we want to make sure that things don't get out of control. And because a fire alarm would not be fun during this video. So the risotto just keeps stirring around. And the mushrooms we're sauteing. So watch the steak because it's only 45 seconds on each side. So we're going to go pretty quick on that. And then once we take it off, we're going to throw butter in the pan and we're going to baste it. So make sure to get a big spoon ready to go on the basting. Okay, I think we're at 45 seconds on the steak. So we want a nice sear on it. Turn that over. See how our risotto is doing. So you want all that nice stock and butter to be engulfed in the risotto. And you don't want the risotto dry at the end. You still want it to be a little bit creamy. Okay, let me refer to the directions. The arugula is going to go into the mushrooms when those are done after about 5 minutes. Steak's coming along nicely. So stir till hot throughout, season with salt and pepper. So we're going to make sure to season nicely the risotto. Risotto can handle a lot of seasoning. That just takes it. So throw that in there. How's our steak looking? One side is seared a little bit more. And that happens sometimes. There you go. You just blow out the little grease fire. Now we're going to take our butter. I've turned the pan off. I'm going to throw it in there. And if you've got a cast iron pan, which I highly recommend at home, just hold it down here and you're going to bathe it with the butter. This is like the best old school French trick of all time. This is how French food tastes so good. Lots of butter bathed in your proteins. I'm going to let that sit in the pan for just a second. Stir the risotto up here. That was like the first almost fire that we've had. I'm going to turn this guy down a little bit on the mushrooms because they're almost done. We're going to throw the arugula in there in just a second. But the risotto is going to just take another second, so keep that rolling. And what I've done, this is also very smart at home. So it's just a baking sheet with a little cookie tray, and that's where the meat is going to rest. So we want it resting about 5 minutes. What I'm going to do, because again, I love butter, so I'm just going to take this and pour it right over top of the beef. A little bit extra love while it's resting. Okay, mushrooms are almost done. So we're going to take the arugula, toss it in there. We've got a nice non-stick tongs. These are great, especially if you've got some induction burners and some non-stick pans, so you don't scratch them all up. Very important again that you season. Salt and pepper. Let's see how our risotto is doing. Very nice. So again, you just want it so that there's just a little bit of moisture in there. So we're going to cancel this guy, my annoying oven that beeps at me all the time. All right, make sure I got the Chef Rich's instructions. Spoon risotto on the bottom of a bowl. Add the mushroom and arugula mixture on top, and then top with hazelnuts and with chives. This looks amazing. It's quite a large portion. You know, maybe you don't put it all on the plate, and maybe you save some for tomorrow. But it's gorgeous, so why would you save some? Oh man, this is so exciting. I love mushrooms, I love arugula, I love risotto. It's so funny. From time to time, I don't know which one is going to be the best looking one. Okay, toasted hazelnuts, because why not? It gives it that really nice crunch and nuttiness. So I like my steaks medium rare, which is why I'm not going to put them in the oven anymore. But if you like your steak more, you can put it in the oven for 3 minutes at 400 where your veg is going for a few extra minutes in order to get it to medium well. But really medium rare is so nice. Yeah, you know what? I got a few more hazelnuts, so why not use them? Always make sure to clean your plate, your bowl in this case, and the fresh chives on top. Wow. This looks good. All right. So we have our Le Coprin mushroom, arugula, hazelnut, and chive risotto. Next up, I know our veg is ready. Pull it right out. I'm going to keep the light on, turn the hood fan off, so that's not annoying. And while that's settling in, I'm going to show you the dessert, which is a Paris Brest. Now, I did a little research on this because I hadn't known the background on it. So Paris Brest was created for a bicycle race in 1891 from Paris to Brest, and I'm sure that I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. But the guy who ran the bicycle race wanted to have a dessert that was shaped like a tire. So this is a choux pastry, and it's baked with a praline crème inside and an orange zest and a nut brittle. So I can't wait to try it. It is really going to be awesome. I was looking at the chefs making it all day today and getting super excited and hungry. Okay, so let's not burn my hand. I'm going to talk about the red wine tonight, which is a Cabernet from California, which is not something that we do very often. Let's see. Let's go with a spatula tonight for our potato roasty. And then all the gorgeous, colorful veg is going to go on there. And don't worry, with the olive oil on here and the natural sugars in, it'll hold temperature very well while we slice the steak. That goes on. Make sure everything's turned off. So then the next part is going to be putting our sauce on and cutting the steak. So California Cabernet, because, you know, why not? I like to mix it up for folks. And this one is a great small production one, introvert, which is fun, because I actually, believe it or not, am an introvert. Really gorgeous. Okay, so very important. When the lines go like this with the steak, you want to cut against the lines so that it becomes very nice and tender. And because there's no blood pooling out, it means that I have rested it long enough. So let that be your guide. If you're worried about it, rest it more. Because flank steak is so delicious, but it just needs to be cooked properly. And the combination of the sous vide plus the searing plus the resting is really key. Okay. I bet you this is going to be my picture shot. Okay, and very important to season it generously with salt and pepper. Although it's seasoned to begin with, this is what really makes the flavor come out. And then finally, we've got our chimichurri mayonnaise here. Because you need something really nice and fresh, and that's the herb stuff that goes on it. A little more on this side. That's looking good. So we have our sous vide flank steak with the chimichurri mayo, roasted Brussels sprouts, beets, and our potato roasty. Hey, thanks for ordering tonight. We've got some great corporate packages left in case your company wants to do something fun. We can do the meal kits. We can do some great Zoom wine tasting with Connor Gallagher, our wine director, who puts together these wines for you. So just email us at yum@beckta.com. Let us know what you're thinking. We have some spots left. A lot of the Fridays and Saturdays are done for the rest of the Christmas season, but we'd love to have you on the Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. And thanks for ordering, and thanks for all the amazing support.